Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and today we will be doing my March TBR. Like with all my months, I have quite a large TBR because I have so many books to read for school. It's actually quite scary, but we're just gonna run with it and see how many I could get done for this month. One of the first books I need to read for school is Grand Maltar by Jean-Marc Asen. This is a book about a secret underground street gang where the inner workings of said street gang are a mystery to one of the daughters of the head of this kind of gang. His name is Serge. He is very well known for being Le Grand Menteur, for being a liar, for being someone who can slip through the cracks of the underground and amongst the police officers and stuff like that. So that is one book I need to read for class. It's for my Indigenous Diaspora class, so very interested in that. Then the next book I need to read for class is Gain by Richard Powers. This story is it takes place kind of in two timelines, where one starts off at an American soap making company and then it moves into like pharmaceuticals and pesticides, and that's how their company kind of grows. And the other story follows a woman who develops cancer and I'm pretty sure dies of cancer, and the discussion around whether or not she died due to the chemical introduction throughout her life in this work. This is for my classic American literature class. So as you know, I've had kind of an issue with the choices picked for this class. I'm not really enjoying any of them, so maybe this one will be interesting. I don't know. Another book I need to read for my classic American literature class is A Visit from the Goon Squad by Jennifer Egan. This is a story that follows two main characters, Benny Salazar, who was a big punk rock star, and his assistant named Sasha, and how their two lives kind of intertwine. I'm actually really excited to read this book. I think it might be a story that I will really enjoy, so I'm excited to give that one a chance at least. It's also more modern, so I think that I might enjoy the writing style far more than I have with the other books that we read for the class. For my Indigenous Diaspora class, I also need to read Homegoing by Ya Jessie. Like I said in my February TBR, I didn't get a chance to read this one that month. This follows two women born into slavery, one who marries a slave owner, one who is employed by said slave owner, and how the generations that trickle down, how their ancestry affects them over time. I'm writing a essay on this, so I need to get this done before March 4th, so this will definitely be one of the first books I read. The next book I need to read is Emma by Jane Austen. This follows a young woman named Emma who plays matchmaker in her town in England. I read this previously in CEGEP, but I don't remember anything. What I do remember is falling asleep when we watched the movie in class, so I really don't know anything, not even anything about the plot. I'm a bit scared of this book. As you can see, it's like a chunker, but perhaps I'll enjoy it. I don't know. I have issues with this time period, as you know. And then the last book I need to read for my Jane Austen class is Persuasion by Jane Austen. This is a story about a woman named Anne who is in love with a man named Frederick Wentworth, and one of her friends persuades her to end this relation, and Anne goes the rest of her life regretting this decision. This is the book that was published after Jane Austen died, so I don't know, I'm not even sure if it's 100% complete, but it's fairly short, so I'm hoping that I will enjoy this one. We'll see. After that, I have two arcs that I really want to get to. One of them I didn't get to in the month of February. It was A Place for Wolves by Kosoko Jackson.
Hey guys, so I'm leaving this clip in because I just wanted to explain like the variances in my language. I keep saying two arcs, two arcs. I will not be reading A Place for Wolves by Kosoko Jackson anymore. I just have too much on my plate, and I read a review concerning this book, and I feel less comfortable providing my own review before publishing, especially considering the fact that I'm not own voices to most of the representation that's within this novel, and I don't want to give it a low rating now that I have this kind of review in the back of my mind, and I want to wait until there's more reviews that come out and waiting for a time where I feel more comfortable posting a review concerning this novel. So I'm leaving this clip in just so you guys know that when I mean to, I had this book in mind to review, and at this point I don't want to anymore. And that's it. Nothing wrong with this. I don't know, I just don't want to read it anymore, and I was worried that you guys would be confused. So that's it.
And the next arc I really want to get to is The Descendant of the Crane by Joan He. This is an Asian-inspired fantasy where the princess is kind of always accustomed to this life of power and being kind of a leader, and upon the death of her father, she's kind of thrust into this role of being a leader of a country, and she has some assumptions that her father was murdered, and she goes on this adventure to discover the truth. So I'm very excited for that one. I'm hoping to read these two. A Place for Wolves is my real goal, but I also really want to get The Descendant of the Crane read so I can post a review for the companies. And then I have a bunch of other books that I also want to get read. The third and final book in the Hunger Games trilogy, Mockingjay by Susan Collins. This is the third and final volume in the series. As you know, this story follows Katniss Everdeen as she is chosen to be a part of the Hunger Games and basically accidentally starts a revolution. So I'm very excited to finish this one off. This is for the Hunger Along, so I'm excited to finish it. Then I have a book that I am reading for a special video that I have coming out, so I'm not going to talk about what this book is, but I kind of want to get it read this month so I can give it back to my friend. Then the Daughter of Smoke and Bone read-along starts this month as well with Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. This is a story that takes place in Prague, and it follows a young girl as she discovers this world of fallen angels and fallen devils, I think. I'm not too sure, but I kind of want to go into this blindly. What I've heard about it is that it is a beautiful fantasy that has beautiful writing, and that is something I really look for in my fantasy, so I'm excited to pick this one up. And then I have so many fantasies that I want to get to that have like queer-led romances in it, so if I can get to any of these, that would be great. We have Of Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulthers. This follows a young girl who is betrothed to a prince and what ends up happening when she falls in love with the princess. Then I have A Brilliant Death by Amy Rose Capetta. This is a story inspired by Italian kind of folklore. It follows a young girl who is a stega, which means witch in Italian, and what happens when she meets someone and no one knows that she is one, and what happens when she travels to the capital just as a boy. So this is very gender bent. This has a lot of queer representation within it. So I really want to get this one done. I'm aching to read this. I was very interested in it. Then I have Strange Grace by Tessa Gratton. This is a story about a village where every year they give the best boy to a tree, and one year they ask for 2 best boys, and what happens because of that. I've heard that this has a polyamorous relationship within it. It's very queer, it's very LGBT friendly, so I'm excited to give this one a try. And then I also have Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nagan. This is a story about a group of girls who are chosen to be the king's consorts, and what that means is that they're basically sex slaves. 2 girls fall in love within it. This, I think, is an Asian inspired fantasy as well. Very queer, very wonderful. I'm excited to give this one a try as well. Ooh, it's pretty. And then just continuing with the A Song of Ice and Fire read-along that is happening before the season starts. We also are starting A Clash of Kings this month, so I don't predict that I will read all of it this month, but I do want to get perhaps half a chunk in. As you know, I am rereading this series and tabbing up a lot of things within it, having read this before, having watched the episode, so I'm kind of tabbing everything, seeing what I can predict, seeing what works as foreshadowing, so I'm very excited. Then I have my top 24 books I need to read this year, so I have 12 fiction, 12 non-fiction, so I will be picking these out of a jar now. So my fiction pick this month is Strange New World. Let me just get it. So we have Strange New World by Aldous Huxley. From what I understand, this is a classic sci-fi book that involves kind of the ideal perfect world that is controlled by this company, where they kind of genetically modify people in order to have this kind of perfect world and what becomes of it. It's very classic sci-fi. I have always heard about this book, so I am nervous but excited to read this. I think it goes along with my kind of fantasy heavy theme this month, so even though it's sci-fi, I'm excited. And now we will pick my non-fiction. So we have Rain on Fire. Brain on Fire by Susanna Cahalan. From what I understand, this is a memoir book about a 24-year-old girl who wakes up in a hospital room strapped down, and she has absolutely no recollection about what happened and what ensues because of that. I am very intrigued to read this, and I'm happy I chose it. It's kind of short, so we'll see. So I have a relatively huge TBR this month. If you want to read any of these with me this month, please let me know. I would love to talk about it below in the comments. I would love to kind of read along with any of these books with you guys. It'll kind of push me to read the ones that I don't have to read for school. And that's it. Give this video a like, give it a dislike, argue with me down below. I love to debate. And that's it. I will see you next time. Bye!